Shazam! Or Shazam. Shazman.
Okay. Welcome to Drawing Conclusions. I'm Jessica.
I'm Josh.
And today we are reviewing
Shazam!
Starring Zachary Levi and Mark Strong.
Asher Angel, Jack Dylan Grazer.
Yep. And this movie is based on the DC comic.
Ancient character from DC
right.
Comics.
I mean, it's a character that's been around a long time, and is the first exploration of this character on film in this new DC movie era, for sure.
Yeah, the DCEU, as they're calling it.
So, Josh, what did you think of this movie?
I really enjoyed it. I thought I had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
What did you like about it?
The humor. I think they really embraced, like, kind of the... I mean, if you know anything about Shazam and the Billy Batson character, it's kind of silly, you know? And so it really embraces that and just kind of leans into it and doesn't apologize, and it works. It really pays off. I like the humor. I think it's really funny. But I also like the action set pieces. They were pretty cool.
Yeah.
And well executed. I like the actors. I think Zachary Levi as adult Shazam, I think, is great, as well as Asher Angel, who plays Billy Batson, is fantastic. And the interplay between him and Jack Dylan Grazer, his foster brother, and also his foster siblings, and basically his foster family, I think they all worked really well together. Yeah. Mark Strong, I think, is always great in a movie. I like him in just about everything I've ever seen. He always plays a really, truly menacing villain.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. To me, his intensity in his roles, and this show is no exception. You don't write him off.
Right.
You know, it's like, okay, he's not a bad guy. No, he's genuinely scary.
Right, he engages you.
Yes.
Well, so what's fun about Shazam is a lot of the humor comes from just the premise of the idea itself. So the idea that there's this teenage boy
inside this adult male
and,
body with massive power.
Right, and then, and that what I feel like they really lean into is this idea of how a teenage boy would react if all of a sudden he was given all of this power, and especially a teenage boy like Billy, who grew up
in the foster system,
right, without very much, and also that I love that they put this in a world where they acknowledge that Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman, all these people exist, right, and that the public is aware of them, right.
Like, you see like merchandise and stuff like that in the background,
right, and that really has a lot. It influences a lot of what happens with Billy Batson / Shazam and his foster brother Freddie, played by Jack Dylan Grazer, and the interplay between them two is the source of a lot of humor, but also a lot of the heart of the movie, which is another thing I really liked about this show. Besides the humor, I felt like this movie had a lot of heart to it.
It did.
Yeah.
Oh, I liked it. I liked Billy's character arc. I mean, I liked all of the character arcs in the show.
Right.
However large or small that they did happen, nobody felt like a throwaway character, really. Mm-hmm. You definitely get the motivation for each character in the show. Right. Both good and bad, and I think that was really cool. Like, nobody felt like really two-dimensional, flat, or weak. They felt like real people. Right. And had real motivations. And I thought the actors and actresses portraying set characters did really fine jobs. Yeah. And I really enjoyed it.
Well, I really liked, without giving anything away about how it opened, I really liked how they opened the movie. I thought it opened with a great hook. Yeah. Going back to Mark Strong, I thought that the way that they wrote the villain was very compelling. Mm-hmm. I thought, he was definitely a villain, but you understood his background, his motivation, like why he was the way that he was. Yes. And it was a well-written villain. I really appreciated that. I liked the visual style of the movie. Right. Like, it felt very grounded in reality, and yet at the same time, played into the whole comic book feel. There was like kind of
the way they did some of the scenes,
right,
and the way they laid out certain scenes and stuff,
right,
felt
the shots and stuff,
very comic book panel almost.
Right.
Without like being like, oh look, this is a comic panel. I mean, it
Right.
really did just kind of pay tribute to like source material. I thought it
Right.
was really
Well,
nice.
and even like the costuming and things like that, it was like very comic booky, but it never, because of the humor and the way that the movie was set up, it didn't ever like feel like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid and cheesy. It like
Yeah, it
kind of
didn't
just
feel out of
embraced that
place.
fun
Yeah.
feeling of those comic book colors and costuming and styling. So I
Yeah.
like that about it.
I thought that was really cool.
Anything that you didn't like about the movie?
It's been a little bit since we've seen it now. I really can't think of it. I couldn't think of anything then. Right after we watched it, we
Yeah.
did a review on our Patreon channel about that. Our first reactions after the show. There really isn't anything I didn't like about the show. I think it's really fun, and I think it really works. It
Yeah.
works really well, and it's super entertaining. I enjoyed this more than Aquaman.
Yeah,
Goes
for
without
sure.
saying. But I think I also enjoyed this more than other comic movies. This I think was one of my favorite comic book movies. I think it's really cool. Certainly my favorite of the new DC comic book movie. DCEU.
Right.
I liked it more than the Man of Steel, Justice League,
Yeah.
Batman versus Superman.
So I have nothing to nitpick about this movie either. And that's not to say that it's a perfect movie or that it's without flaw, but for me it just was so fun and so engaging, and I was so invested in the characters that whatever sins there are in this
Yeah.
movie, I just kind of overlooked them. Like they weren't
It's not so glaring.
right. They didn't have a big impact on me.
No, they didn't detract away from the story or even my ability to enjoy the story.
Right.
I think it was really cool and very well done. It didn't seem like there was a lot of waste in this movie. Like, okay, they could have done without that,
Right.
kind of thing. Like everything kind of plays well off. It's the humor leading to the action, leading to like the more tender moments and dramatic stuff. I thought was all really well connected and didn't feel like, okay, now it's time for this, now it's time for that.
Right.
It's just like,
And there's definitely a setup for, a next movie in the Shazam franchise, and I like the way that they set that up, and I like the direction that that's going. I think that's really going to be fun and interesting. Like
yes.
it's again really embracing the history of this character and the
Yeah.
comic books. So Josh, overall, what rating would you give this movie?
Geez. I think probably a 4.
Yeah.
Maybe even 4.5. I can't decide which. I really like this show. I would totally recommend this to people. I mean, so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. I don't know. I think you go into this and just enjoy it. Enjoy it for what it is. It's an action comedy. I mean, it is a lot of fun.
Yeah. So tell us about this drawing that you did. That you used some different techniques and materials that we've seen you use before on this drawing.
Well, in this one, I'm using pastels again, but you may notice I'm not just using the pastel pencils. I have these new products, PanPastel is what they're called, and it's just like, it looks like a makeup dish almost, but they spread really nicely and evenly, and for doing big areas, it's really great and a time saver. The colors are vibrant and very rich, and they work all right with the pastel pencils, not perfectly, but well enough. Like you can do the large areas with these things, and then do the more detailed stuff with the pencils, and it still works very well together. I want to do something like we did a trailer review for Shazam way back when it was first debuted, and I liked that drawing that I'd done, and so I reused it and did the character on his, basically a big title card almost for a comic book, and I don't know, it kind of played up the fun comic booky nature of the show.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose to go with this, and of course did the big red and yellow backgrounds and the lightning bolt and lettering and all that stuff. So
Yeah. Turned out great.
thanks.
All right, that is it. Thank you for joining us for this review of Shazam and to watch Josh's drawing. And join us next time. And what should they do now, Josh?
They should subscribe if they've not already done so. They should
Yes.
share this with their friends because
Yes.
that's always fun. And what else?
They should comment and they should like this video.
Yes, definitely comment. We'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the movie Shazam if you've seen it. If you're planning to see it, what are you excited about potentially for this movie? Where you think this ranks compared to the other movies in the DC universe or even just comic book movies in general. Put your thoughts below. And then check us out on Patreon too. And there you can become a patron for a very small amount and then get access to our podcast and hear more of our thoughts about movies and our first reactions to movies after we see them, trailer talk, things like that. So thanks.
Great.